pairs of white and people of color applicants into these fine dining restaurants to see who would get hired. So they were white and people of color folks that looked, so we tried to make them look exactly as close to each other as we could. That city was one of the testers. Sitting this tall, 6-foot African man was paired with a equally tall white man, and they had to spend time like mimicking each other and learning each other's personalities so that when they walked into the restaurant, there was absolutely no other factor that could emerge from why they were treated differently than their race. And of course, so many times, the white man would walk into the restaurant and be hired on the spot, and cities would be told over and over again, we're not hiring now, we're not hiring now. And that happened over and over again. The reports coming out again ended up, 225 different pairs, Mississippi was among them. But we also just went out to restaurants and counted how many white people were in the front and how many people of color were in the back. Well, I tell you this because, partly you'll read the report in January, but also because now we've gone national. Now but they're also kind of beginning to interact with the global restaurant workers movement, and that really has to be the solution to everything we're talking about. It has to be about developing international labor standards and developing international worker solidarity around the world. And that sounds so cliche and like old school, but there are new and creative ways of doing things here, which I think Ross is among, but there are really amazing and creative things that are happening around the world as well that we are beginning to import. And that's we've been in talks with restaurant workers in England and in Canada, but most recently we got to meet with the Restaurant Workers Union in Mexico, thanks to Tigra, Francis. And so we met with them and we actually asked them, so do you ever have this problem where they hire the white people in the front and you find out in restaurants in Mexico City and the darker skinned Mexicans in the back? And they said, well, actually, we never really had that issue before. I don't know how much. Well, they said we never really had that issue before, but more recently, all these American corporations have started to come into Mexico City and hotels and set up restaurants, and usually they come in and the first thing they say is,